Well, good morning, Pastor Tyrone P. Jones, Church for the City, Yuma, Arizona. It's been 8 days since we were all visually and emotionally struck with the images of the massacre at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas, where a Latino teenager shot and killed 19 children and 2 teachers. There have been more than 210 mass shootings in the U.S. so far this year. When children are murdered, the shock and outrage is understandably deeper. It's heartbreaking. The first response after absorbing what you cannot deny is to want to do something to stop the carnage. And that's where the debates that seem to leave the door open for this to happen over and over again. First, there is nothing that can be done that will possibly keeping a mass shooting from ever happening. That's foolish for pundits and politicians to say, and not even close to reality. Crime and evil will never be stopped on this earth in its current unregenerate form. Second, every mass shooting has 3 elements: the killer, the weapon, and the cultural climate. As the late Charles Krauthammer said after Sandy Hook, as soon as the shooting stops, partisans immediately pick their preferred root cause with the corresponding pet panacea. Names are hurled, scapegoats paraded, prejudices vented. The argument goes nowhere. So let's look at each element. Number 1, the weapon. We do have the right to bear arms and to protect ourselves as humans and citizens of the USA. That is a right that should not be tampered with as far as I see it. I also, though, have no problem with the form of gun control that is rights-oriented with common sense and safety provisions. I do believe it will be tough to craft a law that will be effective, but it's wise to begin with not allowing certain weapons, such as assault rifles, to be legally purchased by ones of a certain age or with known red flag issues. We do see the same with vehicles and license to drive. Age restricted and also other reasons can cause one to no longer be able to drive. That's sensible. But to take away cars because people get killed by them is never a discussion, though some certainly should not be able to drive. Number 2, the killer. Monsters shall always be with us, but in earlier days they did not roam free. At one time in our society, people who were a danger to themselves and others were committed. Certainly only a tiny percentage of the mentally ill become mass killers. Yet signs of problems with people with mental illness goes unchecked and with a shrug, not to mention the essence of evil that lurks in the hearts of man unregenerate. Mental illness combined with an evil is a recipe for mass disaster. Number 3, the culture. We live in an entertainment culture soaked in graphic, often sadistic violence. Older folks find themselves stunned by what a desensitized youth finds routine and often amusing. It's not just movies. Young men sit for hours pulling video game triggers, mowing down human beings en masse without pain or consequence. And when we profess a shock when a small cadre of unstable, deeply deranged, dangerous, isolated young men go out and act the overlearned narrative. If we're serious about curtailing these things in the future, everything, guns, mental illness, and the culture must be on the table. While law deters the rational, it has far less effect on the psychotic. The best we can do is to try to detain them, disarm them, and discourage entertainment that can intensify already murderous impulses. All of this comes at a cost and a reapplying of the gun rights in the Second Amendment and the Liberty Clause of the Fifth Amendment and entertainment allowances in the First Amendment. I will close with this reminder for all those in Uvalde and to all of us. The Lord is near to the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. God bless you.